Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. We are looking at a massive, and I mean absolutely massive, paradigm shift in how the United States government handles UAPs. We're going to map out this totally unprecedented, compressed timeline from 2024 to 2026. This is when the conversation literally shifted from scattered, whispered reports to legally mandated, centralized disclosure. Whether you've been tracking this topic for years or you're just trying to catch up on these massive recent declassifications, we're going to break down the exact documents, the key players, and the raw data that forced this entire issue out of the shadows and into the public eye.
To cut through all the noise, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll hit 1. The quest for transparency. 2. AARO and official data. 3. The congressional pushback. 4. Mandating the public record. And 5. The pursued declassification. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The quest for transparency. So to really understand these recent data dumps, we actually need to establish a clear baseline and look at how the government officially defines the phenomena they're tracking right now.
The really crucial point here is this terminology shift. We aren't just talking about UFOs, unidentified flying objects anymore. Congress explicitly expanded the legal definition to unidentified anomalous phenomena to be an all-domain classification, and that is a real game changer. It reflects military reports of objects that don't just fly, but inexplicably move between the air and the sea, what they call transmedium capabilities, or operate as submerged objects that completely defy conventional engineering. So we're casting a much wider, much more serious net here.
Let's look at this timeline to see how this escalated so quickly. It builds from a legal mandate into just absolute unprecedented public declassification. We've got the 2024 National Defense Authorization Act, which legally forced the issue. That led directly to the incredibly contentious November 2024 congressional hearings, which ultimately culminated in the 2026 Pursued database launch. It is a wildly rapid escalation from total secrecy to a mandated public record.
Moving on to Section 2, AARO and official data. Now we're turning to the official Department of Defense investigative arm, AARO, and their strictly data-driven findings. AARO, that's the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, was basically set up to minimize intelligence surprises and standardize exactly how the military reports these incidents.
When you look at AARO's fiscal year 2024 consolidated annual report, they evaluated 757 cases. And honestly, what's fascinating here is that 68% of their closed cases are literally what analysts term AARO garbage. We're talking prosaic stuff like airborne trash, stray commercial drones, and party balloons. Because, as it turns out, when you massively upgrade military reporting channels, you're going to catch a whole lot of ordinary clutter along the way.
To manage all that data, leaders like former Director Sean Kirkpatrick, Acting Director Tim Phillips, and current Director John Kozlowski rely on a super rigid procedural framework. Every case is either officially closed as an ordinary object, placed into an active archive because the sensor data just wasn't good enough to make a definitive call, or they become the rare unexplained. And in that FY24 report, AARO actually highlighted 21 specific cases that warranted serious further scrutiny because of genuinely anomalous straits, things like extreme high-speed travel or completely unusual maneuverability.
But even with those 21 unexplained cases, AARO drew a very firm line in the sand regarding historical conspiracies. Their exhaustive Historical Record Report Volume 1, released back in 2024, firmly concluded that there is, quote, no empirical evidence of extraterrestrial technology. Their official assessment was that claims of hidden reverse engineering programs were essentially just circular reporting, basically a small group of individuals misidentifying legitimate, highly classified national security programs.
Which brings us to Section 3, the congressional pushback. Now here is where we hit a massive disconnect. The explosive pushback from whistleblowers and lawmakers during the November 2024 House Oversight hearings. This was the moment where the official Pentagon narrative and the sworn accounts of military personnel violently clashed.
Just look at this stark contrast. On one side, you have AARO's prosaic data firmly denying any hidden programs. On the exact opposite side, you have former DoD counterintelligence official Luis Elizondo testifying under oath that the U.S. government is in a secretive, multi-decade arms race, possessing recovered technologies not made by any human government. We're just impartially looking at the source material here, but this clash represents a profound epistemological divide within the government itself.
Retired Navy Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet really voiced the immense human frustration during this. He testified that this, quote, dangerous culture of overclassification prioritizes secrecy over active flight safety. He shared this chilling story about getting a secure Navy email detailing multiple near-midair collisions with a UAP, complete with the famous Go Fast video. But the very next day, that email and the video file inexplicably vanished from his account and the accounts of every other recipient. Just gone.
The hearing also brought forward some other stunning claims. Independent journalist Michael Schellenberger submitted a report on an alleged, unacknowledged special access program named Immaculate Constellation. We also heard from former NASA Associate Administrator Michael Gold, who argued that NASA really needs to step in, reduce the stigma, and use its vast archives and artificial intelligence to actively search for anomalies in space and sea, rather than just leaving it all to the military.
Section 4. Mandating the public record. So to resolve this intense dialectic clash between Pentagon denials and congressional whistleblowers, the law actually forced a massive step toward public transparency. Congress decided the data literally had to be dragged out of the dark. The 2024 National Defense Authorization Act flexed its legislative muscle here. It legally mandated the National Archives and Records Administration, NARA, to establish Record Group 615. By October 2024, every single federal agency was legally required to review, digitize, and transfer their UAP records directly to the National Archives using a strict, unique naming scheme. The government was legally forced to build a public library of anomalies.
Section 5. The Pursu Declassification. And this legislative groundwork all culminates in 2026, with the climax of our explainer, the truly unprecedented actions taken by the Department of War to finally open the vault.
Announced by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Pursu fundamentally changed the entire landscape. Standing for the Presidential Unsealing and Reporting System for UAP encounters, this was absolutely not just another report summarizing findings. This was a massive multi-agency effort ordered to hand raw, unclassified data directly to the public through a dedicated portal at war.gov/UFO.
Just look at the sheer volume and rapid pace of raw data they released in the first few weeks of Pursu. On May 8th, Release 01 dropped 162 files spanning 80 years. Literally 2 weeks later, Release 02 dumped 5.6 gigabytes of military video that lawmakers had specifically requested. By Release 03 in June, the public was casually looking at CIA dossiers and FBI tracking logs. It's been an absolute fire hose of previously classified information. Now, what's genuinely fascinating is diving into the specific anomalies tucked inside these releases, particularly Release 03. Because we aren't just talking about blurry dots in the sky anymore. The files detail a 2023 event over the western U.S. involving massive mother orbs launching smaller, high-velocity red orbs. There are FBI logs of space defense sensors tracking a craft completely violating restricted airspace over Cheyenne Mountain in 2022, and there are incredible NASA Gemini transcripts from the 1960s where astronauts were actively reporting orbital anomalies that were just systematically classified at the time.
108. That is the exact number of completely unresolved cases included in just the very first Purus release. Let that sink in. Out of the 162 files in that first tranche, 108 of them offered absolutely no prosaic explanation whatsoever.
And that brings us right to the cutting edge of this issue today, because AARO hasn't just been writing reports, they've been actively developing a dedicated, real-time detection suite called the Gremlin Sensor Network. So we really have to ask ourselves, as military reporting loses its stigma and as Gremlin deploys these high-definition, multispectral sensors, what happens when the next 21 truly anomalous cases are captured, not on some grainy cell phone camera, but on undeniable, military-grade scientific equipment? Ultimately, the massive epistemological gap between disclosure and actual understanding remains. The 2026 Pursu archive is a monumental act of acknowledgement by the government, but it is not an explanation. We finally have the raw data in our hands, but what exactly is staring back at us through those military sensors? Are we looking at a foreign adversary's secret leap in physics, or something far, far more profound? I'll leave you to explore the archives and decide that for yourself.